Now, they started this back in the 1700s when they were dealing with the Indians. If you do the research, the American government made about 367 treaties with the Indians. And the records will show they violated every one of them.
Each and every one.
Every one of them, they violated it because of economic interest.
All right, Dr. Henderson, talking about what's trending in the news, and therefore we lead ourselves right back to Trump again. Giuliani, the whole lobbyist violations, the whole troop movement in Turkey and what's being happened to the abandoned Kurds and so forth. What do you say about all of that?
Well, I think this is something that is nothing to be concerned about because it's what I call the normal state of order in America, where the super rich do whatever they want. They have no positive regard for the law. They care nothing about the Constitution. And of course, they do not care anything about the general welfare of the people in the nation as a whole.
Well, it seems like people that have been supporting us in all of these wars over the decades, it seems like Bay of Pigs when you have people that are supposed to be fighting against Cuba and we're actually representing or supporting these people and then leave them on the beaches to be strafed and mortared. The Montagnards in Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, and all of those people that were just left hanging on the vine, so to speak. And now here in the in 2020 and 19, we have the Kurds over in Syria being decimated from the word go on the announcement of troops being pulled out.
Well, I just mentioned that's the normal course for America. Now, they started this back in the 1700s when they were dealing with the Indians. If you do the research, the American government made about 367 treaties with the Indians. And the records will show they violated every one of them.
Each and every one.
Every one of them, they violated it because of economic interest. When they moved the Indians, and we'll get to the current situation, they always put them in the worst part of the nation. They took the lands in the south, north, east, west, put them out there in the west in the rocks and the mountains. Then when they found gold and oil, they took some more land from them and put them in a worse situation. And now you find that the Indians, the American or Native Americans, are cut off from society. They are dependent on the government for food, clothing, and shelter, and education. And they give them very little of either one of them. And they are suffering, they are sick. In some of the nations, they have up to 75 to 80% of unemployment. For the males, the women have no jobs in most cases. The school system is bad. The health system is even worse. So now they are just there, dependent on nothing but drugs, alcohol, and mental illness.
But what about all the casinos right here in Mississippi with the Choctaws? Shouldn't that have been something that they bestowed upon the Native American Indians, so to speak, so to call, and should that have not made everything better? The casinos.
No, the casinos is set up just like the American government, where the government is set up to take the advantages off the people, democracy, what we call civil rights, what we call economic imperialism, to raise that up to the top for the rich.
Okay.
And they care nothing about feeding anything down to the populace.
So the casinos are basically having the indigenous population shop at the company store.
That's exactly what it is. But the bad part about it that a lot of people don't recognize, see, a lot of these casinos are managed by outside firms, which are Caucasian management companies, and they hire a few Indians or American natives to have positions in that responsibility, and most of them are assistants to someone. They are not head of the casinos.
So when we're talking about these casinos, are we talking about old guards out of Philadelphia, Atlantic City, and the vestige of what was in Las Vegas from the people who built it in the first place?
Exactly. Same thing. The money goes to the imperialist, and the Indians get the gravy. They do not get the meat. And that's why you still find thousands and thousands of poor American Indians can barely make it, even here in Mississippi. They're making less than the minimum wage in many areas. The houses are falling down.
So reservations are still viable in someone's mind versus breaking down these walls of economics and whatever else that would be an improved situation for any population.
Well, you will find that there will be no major changes on the reservations as long as the people that set them up manage them. When you are in charge of a people.
Indian affairs.
That's right. That's who's going to get the rewards, the members of the Indian affairs. They're going to make policies that's going to be promoting the interests and the welfare of the United States government and not the Indian nations. They have no sovereignty. They are economic slaves that are portioned into certain parts of the nation to be forgotten. They don't even care if they die out.
Well, which seemed to be part of the purpose to begin with.
That's always been
I
the
could
purpose.
been wrong. I could be wrong.
You're not wrong. That's by design.
Okay.
If you want someone to be saved economically, socially, you have to practice what I call inclusion. You don't separate them. You put them into the general thrust of things. Provide them with equal education, equal opportunity, positions in the various businesses and schools. And you teach them that they are part of the nation and not a
Part of our institution.
That's right. And that's not the way it's done here in America.
Click here